You step into the windowless break room, and your shoulders rise before you even sit. That cool ceiling panel hits your eyes, and your heart stays oddly on call. Light pushes cortisol availability up, melatonin down, and your mood turns restless. It's not weakness. Your space is keeping your body awake. 10 minutes later, you're wired tired. Snack cravings, flat emotions, and a break that doesn't reset. Bright, cool light keeps the brain vigilant, so calm never arrives. Hormones miss time, feelings tighten, and behavior becomes scrolling or grazing. Tonight, we'll build one warm corner that tells your nervous system, safe now. Most people blame themselves. I can't relax. I need willpower. I should stop snacking. But in a windowless night break room, light sets the schedule. Melanopic heavy overhead glare can delay melatonin, while keeping cortisol too available. CIESO26E 2018 even gives us a way to name it. Melanopic EDI, a lux metric for the non-visual punch of that cool panel. And it doesn't take stadium brightness. One lab study found approximately 90 to 100 lux of evening room light suppressed melatonin, about 71% versus dim light. So the chain goes. Bright cool light, right pointing arrow, cortisol stays on and melatonin gets pushed back. Right pointing arrow, you feel wired tired. Right pointing arrow, you scroll, graze, and never truly reset. Tonight we're not chasing productivity. We're building a warm corner ritual that lets your hormones land, so your mood can soften. Here's the twist. The room also has no off-ramp for your eyes. One bright ceiling plane makes everything feel like the same task zone, so your brain stays vigilant instead of downshifting. Cooler, higher CCT light boosts alertness compared with warm light, which is why 6500K keeps you sharper than 3000K in field research. That's helpful on the floor, but harsh in a break because light right-pointing arrow, hormones right-pointing arrow, feelings right-pointing arrow, behavior keeps looping. So we'll separate two worlds, a dim 22002700K decompression pool and a brighter task strip kept out of your direct sightline. When the space finally gives you a choice, your body stops arguing with itself. Let's name what's happening without blaming you. Cool overhead panels often carry a strong melanopic signal, which CIESO26E 2018 quantifies as melanopic EDI in lux. More melanopic EDI at night means light tells your brain daytime, so cortisol stays too available and melatonin gets delayed. In a controlled lab study, about 90 to 100 lux of evening room light suppressed melatonin by roughly 71% versus dim light under 3 lux. So the chain is simple. Overhead light intensity and spectrum, right pointing arrow, cortisol melatonin timing shifts. Right pointing arrow, you feel wired tired. Right pointing arrow, you end up scrolling, snacking, or staying tense. Now add the second problem. The room has no visual off-ramp. One bright, uniform ceiling plane makes every seat feel like a task seat, so vigilance stays high. Field research in offices found higher CCT lighting around 6500K increased objective alertness compared with warm 3000K light. Helpful for work, yes, but in a break it keeps dopamine from settling into recovery so emotions go flat. The chain again. Cooler, higher CCT light right pointing arrow alertness rises and downshifting drops. Right pointing arrow mood turns irritable or numb. Right pointing arrow, you chase stimulation instead of rest. And layout quietly amplifies all of it. When the space isn't segmented, your brain can't choose between connect and recover, so it does neither. Your eyes keep scanning, which keeps cortisol available, which delays melatonin, which keeps your feelings on edge. Then behavior follows. You sit, but you don't land. This is why a warm corner works. It gives your nervous system one clear instruction. in one clear place. Here's the misconception. A break room should be evenly bright, so everyone stays awake. Verified reality. Cool overhead light carries a higher melanopic punch, so light right-pointing arrow cortisol stays available. Melatonin delays right-pointing arrow, you feel wired. Tired right-pointing arrow, you snack or scroll. CIESO26E 2018 calls that non-visual punch melanopic EDI, measured in lux. And it doesn't take much. Approximately 90 to 100 lux in the evening suppressed melatonin, about 71% versus dim light. So the fix isn't willpower. It's giving your hormones a softer cue so your mood can finally drop its guard. Alternative. Build 2 micro-territories and let your brain choose. Light right-pointing arrow hormones, right-pointing arrow feelings, right-pointing arrow behavior. Use one dim, indirect 2200-2700K lamp as a decompression pool, and one brighter task strip kept out of sight. Color right-pointing arrow hormones, right-pointing arrow feelings, right-pointing arrow behavior. In the warm zone, stick to 2 warm, low-saturation surfaces, plus 1 neutral, so vigilance drops. Arrangement: right-pointing arrow hormones, right-pointing arrow feelings, right-pointing arrow behavior. Add a half screen or plant to split a quiet solo nook from a social table. Higher CCT like 6500K boosts alertness versus warm 3000K, so keep awake light for tasks, not recovery. You're not being dramatic. Your nervous system just needed an off-ramp. Make it simple with the 3-limit rule, so you don't overload yourself. 2 colors, plus 1 neutral, 2 light sources, and 1 visual anchor point you can rest your eyes on. Light, right-pointing arrow hormones, right-pointing arrow feelings, right-pointing arrow behavior. When glare drops, cortisol eases, melatonin timing stops fighting you, and your breathing slows. Then you can actually feel the break, softer mood, steadier attention, and no emotional whiplash returning to the floor. Tonight, try a 10-minute reset in that warm corner, and notice what your shoulders do. You don't need more caffeine or willpower to survive the night shift. You just need a space that speaks the right language. Dim, warm light lowers that melanopic glare, letting cortisol ease and melatonin stabilize. Your feelings soften, and your behavior shifts from scrolling to true rest. Tonight, find that one quiet corner and turn on a warm 2700K lamp. Sit there for just 10 minutes. Notice how your breathing slows and your shoulders finally drop. This small change creates a massive shift in your nervous system. You deserve a break that actually heals you.